Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome all. This is the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers, 216 Main Street, West Swan River, Manitoba, this 26th day of May 2020 at 7:03 p.m. Present, myself, Deputy Reeve, Blosha, Councillors Foster, Gade, Wills, Pierrepont, and Councillor Kushniryk will attend a bit later. Interim-Acting CAO Ken Jenkins via telephone. From Finance, we have James Webb, and from Administration, Donna Potts. Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Gade, resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held this 26th day of May 2020 shall be adopted as presented.
Mr. Reeve, could I make a slight change to the agenda, please?
We'll let you go first, Ken, because we've got two people here, but you're on the phone. Go ahead.
Okay, 9.2, Airport Commission under discussion. I would like to move that one to in camera, please.
Okay. That was all?
Yep.
Okay. Councillor Blosha.
I was wondering if we could add green team on here.
7:10.
7:10? Ken?
Yeah, if we want to do it, we do it. 7:10, green team?
Yep, please.
Councillor Gade?
I have a 7-11 dust control. And a 13-6 investigation under enforcement.
What number is that?
13-6 in camera.
The one.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll talk about it then.
That'll be 13-7 because we're moving
Oh, okay, yes, it will be.
the airport commission. Okay, 13-7 titled what?
Investigation under bylaw.
I apologize, but I'm having trouble hearing Councillor Gade.
I know what's that.
He'll have to use his outside voice. I think that only works for us here. Okay, any objections to the proposed changes to the agenda?
Did you hear them, Ken?
Yep, I got that.
No objection? All in favor? That is carried. Moved by Councillor Blosha, second by Councillor Pierrepont. Resolved that the minutes for the regular meeting of council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held on May 12th, 2020, as well as special meeting held on May 14th and May 19th, 2020, should be adopted as circulated. Any errors, omissions?
On May 12th, resolution 8 shows carried, but I think we actually tabled that one that night. We carried it a different night. I think it's in the special meeting, is it not?
The special meeting, you say?
No, it was on the first one, I think he's correct.
Yeah, because we carried it on the night of the 14th. So
What
on the
number
12th,
is
it
that,
should show tabled. Number 8.
Number 8.
It should show tabled.
Number 8 on May 12th?
Yes,
Okay.
so it was carried on the 14th.
Okay.
Okay,
The
the
top.
correction noted. Any other Errors or omissions? If not, all in favor? That's carried.
There's a lot in seven.
Do we have public works reports? No public works
No.
reports. Matt, this is your area here, if you wanna come grab that or pass down.
She wasn't sure how much you guys wanted to.
Don't think we need that much before.
That's your area. Just sign that one. That's why we keep holding it. What, 3 times a week? Can you give me a phone number? Can you tell me who this is? Can you tell me who this is? I just talked to the office.
Oh, thanks.
Actually, I got her all the phone numbers. But one quarter's listed under 5 people, so then they got confused as to why they're phoning one person and not this person. And said we get a hold of one of the 5, just pick one. They're all together.
Okay, it's an application for variance on Southwest 23827, moved by Councillor Blosha, second by Councillor Pierrepont. Resolved that a public hearing shall be held on June 23rd, 2020 at 7:30 PM for the purpose of receiving presentations from those who may be interested in regards to the request for a variance order to reduce the minimum site area from 80 acres to 35.21 acres within the AG zone on the property known as the Southwest 23827W, and be it further resolved that all necessary advertising, mailing, and posting of the notice for said hearing shall be made in accordance with the Planning Act. Any questions or comments on that? Not all in favor? It's carried.
It's nice of them to agree to keep it a small plan. So
Moved by Councillor Wills, second by Councillor Pierrepont. Whereas the delegation from Manitoba Infrastructure attended the council meeting on February 25th, 2020, and discussed to construct a new bridge over Lady Hubble Creek on the northeast 73728. Therefore be it resolved that council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does support this project. Questions on that? Not all in favor? That's carried.
They come in last fall there, yeah.
yeah, well now the deadline's like June 2nd,
Yeah,
and they're just doing it all now.
so, yeah,
Realizing they don't have a resolution and they don't
Yeah.
have this, they have a letter of approval, but they don't have a resolution.
yeah,
So you'll send that off to Lima tomorrow?
Moved by Councillor Wills, second by Councillor Blosha. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby accept the 2019 audited financial statement for the Northwest Regional Library as presented. Questions on that?
I would just take the word audited out, because this isn't. This is just the budget.
It's just a financial statement hasn't been audited.
Well, it's really just the budget. Like, I don't think it's a financial statement at all, really. Because we're approving the budget. Right?
Their proposed budget, it
Yeah.
said, yeah, I think. I'm sure that's what it says.
Then we should have
Yeah, it says proposed budget right on there.
financial statement taken out then too.
Yeah, probably.
2019
Their
proposed
financial
budget.
statement
Yep.
looks like
Well, they have that, and then on the next line, it says annual report and audited financial statement. for next
Is,
year.
will be forwarded when it's ready, Darryl.
2020 budget.
Went to school in Bozeman.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Just teasing you. Just teasing you.
I will reread the body of the resolution. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby accept or approve, we could use, the 2020, the proposed 2020 budget for the Northwest Regional Library. Lots of strokes.
That's where the.
Read it again. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby accept the proposed 2020 budget for the Northwest Regional Library. All in favor? It's carried. Next is a request from the town of Swan River for Canada Day fireworks. Whereas a request has been received from the town of Swan River regarding their annual Canada Day fireworks. Be it resolved that a grant of X amount of dollars shall be paid to the town of Swan River to assist with the cost of the fireworks for Canada Day. Do you have a mover for that?
I'll move.
Seconder?
Mike, I'm new.
Councillor Wills and Councillor Pierrepont. Okay, any suggestions as to what those amounts should be? Mover wanna speak to it?
Not really, no, I just thought maybe somebody else would like to. No, I think we should give them something, though, I just don't know where we
What
start.
did we give last year? Was it 500 last
I
year?
think that's fine.
Apparently nothing,
Then we get
in
500.
2019.
Do we do anything for Benito?
Deborah
We do
was
every
looking
year.
back.
Is it
Uh,
probably-
Yeah,
Okay,
It was for
guys,
both last year we did.
we're getting an explanation here.
Deborah checked back and $500 before and then nothing in 2019.
because they didn't need it obviously 2019, but we gave Benito 500, so the same. It's up to you, or up to everybody.
I thought we did both.
Are Benito going to be requesting as well?
I'm unsure
I
of
would
that.
assume they would be, huh?
Is Benito still planning something? Does anybody know?
Well, Canada
We
Day won't
can't
be a
really
go.
do much other than fireworks.
I know. So
I'm
I'm
unsure.
sure everything was canceled, but I don't know if they're gonna do fireworks as well, just like what Swan is doing, or.
What do you wanna do, same as 18 then?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Okay, be it resolved that a grant in the amount of $500 shall be paid to the town of Swan River to assist with the costs of the fireworks for Canada Day. Any further comments or questions? If not, all in favor? It's carried. Resolved that the 2020 Riverside Cemetery grant be approved for payment as provided for, approved, but provided. Or in the 2020 financial plan. Do we have a mover for that?
I'll move that.
Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconder,
I'll second.
Councillor Wills. Any comments or questions? Not all in favor? It's carried. .6, animal control. resolved that the following animal control report shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. The Rural Animal Control Officer's report for the month of March 2020, and Rural Animal Control Officer's report for the month of April 2020. Be it further resolved that payment for the above services shall be approved as submitted. Do we move it? Councillor Foster. Seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Wills. Any questions or comments? Yes.
The March report seems to be missing the details of what
I
happened.
was gonna say what he did, yeah.
I don't have it.
What detail were you?
Well, it shows 4 hours and 75 kilometers. It doesn't say what for.
No details.
No, it's just blank.
That could be cattle. Just trying to think. Not sure when it was. We had a complaint of cattle on the road and making a mess in the neighbor's yard in the spring, and he went to check on it, apparently put the cattle back in while he was there.
It's good.
I asked him if he fixed the fence, but he said no. That could be what that is, I'm not 100%. It would be about that time that he went there, cause he called me and asked me what he should do if he got there and the cattle were out. I said, go to the owner and knock on the door.
So do we want to table this until there is an explanation forthcoming, or what are your wishes?
No, I think we should pay him.
Pardon?
I think we should pay it.
I'm
don't
all
think
for
he's-
paying it if we
he's
can
not making
get that
it up.
information, come back at some point.
Usually
come
it's,
back on the
usually it's
next one,
always,
that he-
usually
he
it's
puts
always
in
in
what?
there.
Yeah.
Usually
you
it's in
know.
there just like this, so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
He puts
should
it
be
in
advised then to put some detail in his,
the future there.
I talked to him today about it,
he always has in the
about that.
past.
And,
make sure that he's just handing them in, that's all.
and he was okay with that?
Yep.
Pretty sure that's what it
I
is.
made him little, chart things to fill in and drop
Office.
off.
Thought of him phoned me because he wanted to know what to do if he were up there, cattle on the road, what do I do? I said, chase him off the road and back in the yard and go tell the neighbor that he can't have his cows on the road. Other than that, don't expect him to do anything else. So. He said they were out and he did chase them in, so.
Any further questions or comments? Not all in favor? That's carried. Urban Animal Control Officer's Report. Resolved that the following Animal Control Officer's Report should be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. The Urban Animal Control Officer's Report for the month of March 2020. Urban Animal Control Officer's Report for the month of April 2020. Be it further resolved that payment for the above services shall be approved as submitted. Do we move
I don't have March, but
Councillor.
it? Foster? A seconder? Councillor Wills. Any questions on those reports?
We don't have March. We only have April.
Mark is right there.
we don't have it.
Oh, you're missing it?
Yeah, that's what he's trying to tell me.
I see, well, that one I have.
Just circulate this one quickly and we can take a look at it,
Sorry, I didn't.
rather than printing out another spruce tree worth of paper.
Because it's our, oh yeah. I think it's-
Sorry. That's great. I'll just. So, come on up and have a look.
Did you get a surprise in there?
There's some tough dog crime there.
Same place both times. I hope the woman that thought the cat was digging up her flower bed, that it was a skunk, got better glasses.
Okay, anyone have any questions after seeing it? If not, all in favor? It's carried.
Ken just had that one finalized last time.
This is 7.8. Whereas the Municipality of Swan Valley West had a vacant clerical position, and whereas the position salary, benefits, and probationary period will be in accordance with the collective agreement between the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 987, and the Municipality of Swan Valley West, therefore be it resolved that Council authorize the hiring of Deborah Love for the full-time municipal clerk position. A mover, please. Councillor Pierrepont, seconded by Councillor Wills. Any comments? Not, all in
Doing
favor?
great.
That's good.
That is carried. She's doing well.
Yeah, very well. Big relief to have her.
To 7.9. Be it resolved that council approve the 2020 membership fee for Valley in the Mountains at a cost of $1,500. Mover for that? Councillor Gade, seconder. Councillor Blosha. Any comments or questions?
And that was the same as last year, right?
I am not sure, to be honest with you. Is it for a 2-year or is that an annual?
No, yearly.
Yearly? Wow.
We actually made it very good this year, because the municipality got a couple extra pages in the guidebook. Unfortunately, given what's happened,
Well, that can't be.
no, but it was really going well until then.
Till COVID come along. Okay,
It's not
no
their
further
fault.
questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Okay, 7:10 Green Team. Councillor Blosha was wondering, Ken, if you can hear us, if you have received any information with respect to how many individuals are able to join us, young people, or whether one of the two entities, either the LUD or the rural area, will not be getting a person. Can you update us, please?
It was rather sketchy, Mr. Reeve, but I do believe they approved the two positions.
2 positions?
Yeah, but it was the way they handed it out this year was a little confusing, but I'd like to say there's 2 positions. We'll certainly follow up on that. And then we'll just go ahead. We'll confirm that. I was talking to Councillor Blosha earlier by email, but we don't really need a resolution. I'm not sure if there's a resolution passed or not to apply for the grant. But once the grant's been approved, there's no further need for a resolution. If council wants you approved apply for grant and it's approved, there's really no need for a resolution to instruct staff. Just general direction is all that's required. And in that same tone, we can make sure there's 2 positions.
I just wanted to be able to advertise for it, and I just wondered how we would advertise for it.
Yeah, we will get that confirmed just before we advertise, but we'll get the advertising done. We'll get the confirmation and the advertising done really quick.
Yeah.
Do you have an update on the cost share, how the wages would be paid?
I don't have that information readily available. Councillor Blosha, did you bring that to the meeting?
No, I didn't bring it to the meeting. I didn't actually print it out, but
No.
it's, I'm sure it's 7 and 7 or whatever. I'm sure that's what I read.
7, 7, and 7.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll, I wish I could open it up for you right now.
I'm pretty sure that's what they are.
7 what?
$7.
Like, they give $7
They
towards
pay
it to
seven,
a
we
certain,
pay 7, yeah.
Okay,
I wanna
so
say it was up to $43.95
I think
for
the
both.
quickest, if I could interject a little, probably the quickest
Okay,
resolution of that is we'll just
48.
compare it to what we got last year.
so it's about a 50-50 split or slightly more than 50-50, depending on the salary that's offered.
it shows you should be offering minimum wage, it says that on there.
Yeah. Okay, that could have been under discussion, but not a big deal.
Yeah. I just wanted to get
One
it.
other thing of note, they're taking a second round of applications. That might not work for us, but certainly for all of us that represent different groups in the valley,
Mhm.
they're willing to do a second round now.
Yeah, and I think you have till June 2nd.
Yeah, it's not long, but there's a few days left.
Maybe it was only till the 29th.
It's,
Yeah, but I think 2 for us is good, 1 and
oh,
1.
definitely for us it's good, but for any other group that maybe missed the initial or something.
Yeah, I've heard of a couple of.
So Ken, you would advertise for like whatever, July, whatever, they would start July.
Yeah, we'll do the advertising,
Yeah, it's usually,
but we can't do the advertising, pretty much use the same one that we used
it might
last
as
year.
well be the 6th. Start the payroll properly.
Probably July 6th
Yeah,
after a
would
long
start the
weekend.
payroll properly.
Okay.
Thank you.
7-Eleven. Oh,
7-Eleven.
always open. Slurpees.
It seems like it's a topic that's always open too. Do you want to? I have one, but you guys may have a different one.
Having
I'm
trouble
gonna go
hearing?
first. I was just asking. I think we have 2 different topics under the same title, so I wanted to know if they wanted to go first or wanted me to bring up mine first.
Well,
You go
first.
ahead.
Okay. So I'm just going to pull up Mrs. Reel's
Oh
letter.
yeah, that's a different one.
Is that same? Yeah, it's not the same what you guys are talking about. So I had a conversation with Kelly Reel. They, for the first time, were attempting to buy dust control for in front of their house, and they were hoping to take us up on the 500 feet for the price of $250. But their particular road is not indicated on our haul road chart. And they were wondering if we could add their road. She tells us that there's over 2,000 loads a year that get hauled into Spruce Products, LP, and CKP. That must be,
Yeah,
craft
that's it.
paper, right? Canada Craft Paper.
Yeah.
But it is a class as a haul road. I was wondering, certainly to me it sounds like she has a valid argument for it being a haul road, but it could well be that we've never had a request for it before, so that's the reason why it doesn't appear on our list.
All that hauling comes from their vehicles, pretty, you don't like out of them,
Not all of it of CKP's on there, no. I
Well,
think if it's
they-
going to LaBois.
they haul to the pole.
I know most of the Spruce is, but I know there is other contractors that go up there. There used to be.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any coming in that road.
Irregardless though, what their business does and what their house is entitled to is
Yeah,
really 2
that's-
separate things, right? It's good to have business in the valley, I'm certainly
Oh.
glad we have them, but it's the residential issue that we need to look at there, because it's not for the business they're looking for dust control, it's for their house. So I would like to sponsor a resolution to add that road, if
Their,
it's in agreement with
their
council.
house is right up there.
It is.
Yeah.
Quite a ways off.
How does that impact the rest of the road to the highway? Though, how many residences are located along that road? Because if you
There's quite a few.
designate it as a haul road, it isn't gonna be just in front of their house.
Exactly, because it goes all the way to the pavement.
Yeah,
There's
And
a
how
road
many
there.
residences would be along
McCollum's,
that?
there's Shanks,
It comes
You
down
turn there?
over,
Carrots,
and
yeah.
again. And I don't know if any of
straight
that
down,
is defined
sometimes they
now.
go through Durban.
Mhm.
It's all
Most of the time,
wide
they go
open.
through Durban, most of the time they turn, they go through.
Could be there.
Do you know, Donna, is any of that road already on the list? That's a part in the more, none of it.
None of it is on that
That's
list.
adding a lot of miles, so.
On that situation there, like LP helps with gravel on some of them, like that there, maybe
Yeah.
they would help some with dust
Or
control.
spruce.
Yeah. They used to a little bit there on some of those spots,
Well, would be something we should ask them,
yeah. I think that's more in there,
because yeah, that'll cover, what, 15 miles?
Don't
That
they hit
works.
provincial road there though? And then go west to,
Is that
Durban?
provincial running east and west?
sometimes they go that way, sometimes, most time they're going past Durban Cemetery.
oh really?
They
They're
go
coming.
past Durban Cemetery, mostly every
Yeah.
road.
Right over
It
it.
gets pounded out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the Durban Cemetery Road they always go down.
8 miles.
8 miles.
There would be,
And
there
how
would
many,
be,
can you spot how many residences are
I
on
can
there?
tell you, there's
Yeah.
about 1, 2, 3, 4.
If I could interject a moment, just to clarify, is this a Sarah Lake Road?
yeah,
Okay.
Yes and no.
yeah, just
Not
for,
by the cemetery.
Part of
part,
it.
but-
yeah,
Depending on the exact way they do that wiggle, it would be around 6, maybe 7.
Maybe not even. They'd go,
I think
McCullough,
6, 7 would
they
be the
go
most.
2, 1, 2, 3,
It's all
They
your
turn.
Over. And then
There's
just the
none
highway.
there.
pretty much.
3 or 4,
Yeah.
that's it. Because they go down, turn, across.
we wanted them to go on the road, the Durban Road, because it's a road built more for them.
Yeah, like
That's
go down
why,
that
But
way.
it's 2 miles further or whatever than.
Not-
or
Wow.
Yeah,
4
just
miles.
2 miles.
2 miles.
What it is.
We've had other requests for a haul road as well,
Yeah,
going south of Benito, on the east side of the LED. Something that I think we have to consider if we set a precedent in one area.
And
yeah,
There's one then from the Saskatchewan border
well,
coming east, just at the S curve as well.
that is a
Gets a
busy
lot
one,
of traffic.
that is a busy one, that one is.
Have we ever established sort of a guideline for what level of traffic becomes a haul
Well,
road?
the problem was, the old guideline was gravel trucks.
yes, that was the problem.
Like
So
most
much
of,
more than that.
most of these
I
2,000
do
loads
understand
come
what
out in
he's
the
saying,
wintertime
and I do
up here,
understand.
you know what I mean, Bill?
It's farm
Most of it.
use road.
Probably 75% of them.
It's not gonna stop because of all
But there's
the
still
businesses that
Like
are
out
out
of-
there.
Farmland up there.
So I do see that.
Well, she said there's a lot of resources traffic.
I do see the
Summertime.
against.
But if we've got
Just-
7 residences there possibly, there's a couple more on that one and, couple,
Crestview's after it too.
pardon?
Crestview's after it too,
There's
one
only, there's
seventy-two.
only, there's only 4.
So
County.
pretty
They
soon
have
you've got,
Paul and Hydros up
you know,
there.
Yeah, he
15.
proved that to me the other day, I was out there for something, and Sauter's trucking went by there with a tank, and somebody else went by with a loaded tank hauling in hydrants, because there was restrictions still on the ditch road, so they take that road through to Big Woody and then all the way through Big Woody back to the highway.
No, it's a very busy road when the vans are on.
but you soon get up to 15 or 20 and
Yeah.
at $250 a
I
pop.
know, but it's hard to argue otherwise when there's probably in that road while that day I was there for 2 hours and there was 5 big trucks go by.
Oh, then this other road has
Yeah.
a lot more than that.
Oh, I know, but I mean, it's one of those ones because of the anhydrous there.
Well, this is the same. This
that
is
it's-
anhydrous, fertilizer,
Water,
wells, 2
Oh,
wells,
yeah.
2 wells. So I see
How
where
many
they're
did?
coming from.
Did
Well, I do too, I mean, that's what I mean,
Did they
is
say?
a lot of these roads anymore, there are main routes that are getting it all the time.
Okay.
These are the complaints that.
And the one by Benito can't be helped, like, that's your main artery, as I call it. To get to those businesses, that's your main,
Well, that's I texted Mr. Volvick yesterday about my place, so. But they were,
There's another one, like, soon you've got
Well, that
50,
is-
60 residents.
that is a
crossing.
haul road.
Oh, that is a haul road. Just
But
not-
yesterday alone, even with 3 trucks hauling, there was about 6 passes an hour for 6 or 7 hours.
And it's complete white out cloud right now.
Well, my wife went to work and left the windows open.
Ooh,
Yeah, you can, there's probably 1/8 of an inch of gravel on her TV stand. Just from blowing through the trees even, so. So I mean, I can understand what people on those roads are complaining about.
And this year in particular.
Well, this year's terrible, cause doesn't matter where you
Get
go,
the
there's
order,
dust
dust
in the air
control.
everywhere.
Themselves.
They want dust control, but they're just waiting to see what's,
I see he did
we're gonna
get
have, I told
some
them
of the
that
businesses.
we're
Yeah.
talking about it
Yeah,
tonight,
yeah.
so they haven't paid.
The dust control people extol the virtues of how much of our fines it saves. Like it does make the gravel last longer, right? Because when you get that much in your house, obviously it's coming from somewhere. So it marginally cuts our cost for gravel, and not necessarily a lot, but a
Yeah,
little bit.
well, and that's,
Not enough to pay the other half, but a little bit of
Did
savings.
they write this in?
I wrote that.
Yes, no side bar. So what are your plans? If you do one, just be aware that you are opening up for
well, and I
many to
feel
make
like
the argument.
Like,
there is more that should be done.
like I think this one that Bill's talking about should be looked in by LP or Spruce Products too, you know, like into that.
Well, that's something we can approach them about, because probably 50 or 60% of Rio's lumber goes to Spruce Products.
Well, and lots goes to LP, you know, like, yeah.
Well, I sit on that corner and I watch 3 loads, at least maybe 5 every day, coming with spruce headed to LP, or to spruce. I don't see a lot going to LP, not like that.
This corner here you're talking?
At my business there?
Well, you won't see
Yeah, well,
it here,
they-
you won't
they
see
would
it.
see
Bill,
it.
Well,
the
they run
bypass.
the bypass,
Yeah.
yeah.
The bypass they run, but they haul most of their logs in the wintertime. Most of them, later fall they start, lumber is what they,
Yeah,
They're
doing
sawing
lumber
right now.
but
And mine is,
Springtime.
and
And fall.
it's farm
Mhm.
farm use, like,
well, and
it's
even the
it's
farm use anymore, a farmer
it's-
doesn't
it's
have
not, I'm not saying
just
it's
a
gravel.
3-ton truck,
but-
he's got three semis on the go. Like Schulman's are running 5, Brad Mullen's running 5, Davido's running 3.
This isn't necessarily semis, but there'll be waters going down, like when so you got spraying season, you got water, you got anhydrous season, you got anhydrous, that's fall
Well, and
and,
right now, according to
spring and
Miller's,
fall.
there's a huge beetle problem and
so, that one,
they're
I
spraying
think,
like
for
crazy
those,
already, so.
that too, I think we should look at it, cause our well is down there.
Okay, the issue is probably going to, or could possibly be as high as $5,000 from our cost. If we're prepared to look at doing something for this year, without making a commitment maybe for subsequent years, because the weather may in fact be altogether different than what it is this year.
Mhm.
But I would suggest a 1-year commitment, and that we approach the couples of businesses that you mentioned and see where it goes. But we also then have to be very flexible when it comes to other areas of the budget, because
yeah.
that dust control budget was not a dollar extra in there.
No,
I like the idea of doing just a 1 year. And ideally, come fall time, if we could come back to it and establish a process for, let's figure out exactly what makes it a haul road. And go through the list, make sure it's right, so it's not something we're talking about next spring with the time pressure. We can
But
spend a
I'd
little
like to
time
see a
on it.
letter go to the 2 other businesses on that road, so you'd need the Vitals, and you'd need the one on the corner,
The
Okay.
nutrient,
Nutrient. right? That's what I say.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with
Is
that
saying that
okay?
we would like you to.
I asked
Pay
the
assurance.
co-op already, I asked.
Well, the co-op is across the highway,
Yeah,
I can't even,
No,
I
They
can't
weren't-
even, I'm just
No, but
thinking,
if their business is
Their business.
directly related to the traffic on that road, then yeah, they should.
well, it
no,
is.
they weren't,
Sometimes they don't go down.
Yeah.
they weren't enticed, I don't know, they weren't,
But maybe a letter
That's
could
all.
go again. And
yeah.
So in conjunction with the letters, I'm hearing that we're prepared to spend up to 5K for
Which
this
ones,
year.
which ones are we doing, are we?
Well, there have been 3 or 4 different locations that,
Like this one here, I
But
think
only-
that Bill's talking about is before we do money there, I think we should be talking to LP.
I don't think we have time to.
Like,
There's
we're doing
That's
that
why the
right
1
now,
year,
you know.
that's why the 1 year
Yeah.
deal would be.
like up where their house is, it's 150 yards off the,
Well,
Well,
I
you know,
guess
like they're,
the argument I would make is that we can't treat one differently than another. If we're going to say it's temporarily a haul route for this year, and the residents asks for the half price deal, we're stuck with offering it. Because that's what our policy essentially is. We're wiggling in the list of things, but we're not wiggling in the how the policy works. They still can only have 500 feet and only half price.
500 feet a half.
But-
Yeah, not the
Okay.
1,000.
No, not
yeah.
1,000, because it's a residential, it's not a business, right? And then certainly as council, we should talk to
But-
LP and Spruce Products, but I don't think we can say to the homeowner, we can't do this until we do. It's 2 separate processes. We need to put them temporarily on the list for this year, talk to
Like
those
there's
other
some-
guys, and then go forward.
there's some down the road there that don't put dust control on.
Well, they might not, but what he's saying is they have the option.
Yeah,
So,
they,
yeah,
they
Like-
could
They're
be,
not forced to.
No.
they
No.
could be
Nobody's
approached to
forced.
see if they want to
yeah,
Yeah.
share on it.
Yeah.
So let's not take an eternity to decide this. So
I say
$5,000
yes.
for this year.
I say yes.
yeah.
And we might not use it all. We might only use 2 or 3.
Well, like
if
I
we're
said, if
lucky.
there's ones on there that don't ever take it, they might not.
Just
feel-
1 year, yeah.
Just gotta remember.
Feel the
you
need
can't-
for it.
Can't grade
Just
it after either. That's
Whereas
what, where others people get
conditions,
mad.
Oh, Matt's gonna get some of that in his area, I
There's
see
all of the
already.
council and
I see
strategy.
signs up in your,
whereas
South Calcium,
dust
Summit.
control is of
Powder,
prime
was it
importance
powder or what
in
did
this
it
dry spring.
That wasn't done very well.
Where did you see that, Darryl?
Somewhere in your area. There's a cardboard sign that says dust control.
Whereas dust
And then it's like
control,
strips down the road.
Oh, they just went out there
They
with
dump
granular,
somewhere.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
traffic
it's-
on that Durban
yeah,
road.
probably.
and a pail of water.
I thought maybe it
in
was
this
a trying.
I don't-
spring,
Was it? I think by night.
that is as dry as
That,
this or.
the Durban road, all the people on the
I
Durban
know,
road pay
but
for dust.
I don't.
Whereas
exactly.
dust control is a problem this
I
year.
Yeah. The dry
And they
season.
always have,
I don't, yeah,
and they pay for double,
I don't.
like Sanjak's do
Same as
double, and Mike does
Greenhouse has
double, Rob
adjusted
does
his
double,
Path
so,
there.
and actually so does
Cause LP,
Darren.
I didn't go by there, but I could see there was a
LP
truck
and
driving at night.
these ones
They're
have
pretty-
He's still coming pretty much to the Spruce Products corner
because
to cover his market garden there. But then instead of going over to the railway tracks, he takes a corner and get rid of the trees.
where most of the real stuff is going right
Trees
now
you
is
could
to
think
the,
there to come through, but
to the
That's
pond,
just the
to
problem.
craft.
it's probably still 1,000 feet.
It's better than
But
2,000.
he went like, well, he was going to the tracks, and that was 300 feet, 400 feet to his yard.
Hopefully the speed thing down there.
Therefore, I think these all that's one that,
It needs to
install
be
it on
there.
our list.
Okay, add an additional. $5,000. Residences. That are located on heavily used
Your phone's could,
sections of road.
could be ringing.
I think there's gonna be too many. There's gonna be
My
5 or
phone's been
6.
ringing of people complaining there isn't any
or may be able,
That, those
get
were,
cost
those were
shared.
legitimate.
Yeah, no, there is.
Did come in and pay for hers?
funding
Go.
for dust control.
Oh, she will. Did she not?
In
Well,
front of
she
their
would have had it today if she did.
Yeah, I think so.
Very difficult, you guys, to
Yeah, no.
focus. And there's conversation going on, so please keep it to a minimum.
That one.
Excuse me, I have a question for Donna. Donna, did you receive anything in writing about Road 200, or was it just all verbal?
No, there was just a request form. Actually, James took the call. That was a while ago. And it was from a ratepayer asking that Road 200 be deemed a haul road.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
What do we got here?
Must be through
Uh,
town.
that's
Residents located on
Oh,
Beverly.
residents.
We have
It's
this
just
fall,
my
so
brain.
that's the time we'll do this.
Beverly News section
Figure it out.
of
Road.
I figure it's gonna pay for it.
That's my road.
Gosh,
200 here, Glen lives on that.
I don't want no dust.
in front of,
okay. Residences for the
Okay.
year 2020.
It's because they go there and then they go there.
The one they were asking about also was 162, so Campbell.
South Campbell.
Yeah, that's the one.
can you understand my writing? Okay.
Yeah, that's the.
Okay, we have a resolution
Main tunnels now.
drafted here. Hopefully we'll be able to get through it. Whereas dust control is a problem this year due to extremely dry conditions, therefore be it resolved, the Municipality of Swan Valley West add an additional $5,000 towards the dust control program. Residents located on heavily used sections of road may be able to get cost share funding for dust control in front of their residences for the year 2020.
At a split cost.
I think it's in there.
Did it say that?
It's in.
Mhm.
Okay, thank
To
you.
get cost
Shared,
shared
okay, I
funding.
didn't hear, thank you.
We have a mover, Councillor Gade,
I'll second it, please.
Councillor Blosha seconds it. Any further questions or comments?
Donna, do you have a calendar you could put it on for like October for us to talk about it again?
Okay.
And then we'll start the process of figuring out.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Not all in favor? That's carried. Okay, we'll move on to number 8.1. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. General checks number 16075 to 16101 in the amount of $211,048.86. We have a mover for that. Councillor Wills, Councillor Foster. Any questions or comments on any of those?
Just give me a second. So that Stakuski's purchased that, 13,000.
13,000 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's been paid now then? This, lead hand was asking about that today. They're up that way now, I guess, hauling out of there. And wanted to ensure that it was in fact ours.
Probably cleaned up in our pit. That's where they were hauling out of, so.
No, they were going to be needing some from that pile. though.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's not enough, only like 5,000 yards in our pit, so.
Okay, any other questions on it? Not all in favor? It's carried. 8.2, payroll checks. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Payroll checks number 3116 to 3129 in the amount of $17,157.53. We have a mover. Councillor Pierrepont, seconded by Councillor Wells. Questions on those checks? Not, all in favor? It's carried. Okay, move on to number 9, a G5 meeting. I received a piece of correspondence today. The Reeve, Galloway and Council, springtime greetings from our council to yours. We understand that the Arma Mountain is the scheduled host for the next G4/5 meeting, and welcome Mountain to be the host. In this time of COVID-19 and the health orders that accompany, we are suggesting doing a video conference meeting, perhaps by Zoom or similar. Council of the Town of Swan River has requested that we invite the other municipalities in the valley to participate in a video conference G4 meeting. Several topics that the town would like to discuss, including doctor recruitment/CT scanner, a possible new RISE constitution, an SVDRC wind-up, and shared services. If this idea is acceptable to your council, please confirm your willingness to participate or possibly suggest something different. Once again, thank you, kind regards, Lance Jacobson, Mayor, Town of Swan River. They do not provide a date. Did we have one predetermined? Was it in June?
It should be the first Monday, or not?
Should be June 1st.
June 1st?
Yeah, should have been June 1st.
That doesn't give much time from now to then.
No.
Do you want to try to go for that?
I like the idea. Zoom works well. Especially if the town's willing to host.
Well, the town has the facility to, or the equipment or contract or whatever you need to do it. How many people at home have good enough internet to partake of Zoom?
Probably.
Give or take, yeah.
I guess it takes a little bit less, and you would probably know if you don't use the video part of your,
Yeah, if you just,
just the audio.
I haven't had any problems with them yet,
No.
No?
Corey hasn't either on hers, just the one time.
but it's also been during the day
Yeah,
and sometimes in the evenings.
oh, we lose ours.
That's
Some
when-
nights we lose ours altogether.
So the only one would be Councillor Foster.
You could,
Yeah,
you could come over and watch it.
yeah, probably Monday I couldn't make it there.
No,
Is it Monday, June 1st, or,
yeah,
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm throwing out there, like
Yeah.
to get it said and done sort of thing. Maybe the others aren't prepared to move that quickly, I don't know.
Yeah, if it was a week or,
But we are in agreement that we would try to do it, right?
yeah,
That's,
Yeah.
I think that's all
Yeah.
they're asking.
Well, should we try to shoot for June 1st to have it done, or,
you guys can do, yeah,
Whatever it is, right? Like it's supposed to be June 1st. So if that's what it is, great. And if it has to be moved, so be it. But I think we're in agreement with trying to.
yeah.
That's,
So
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
take
That's what they're
instruction
asking.
into getting on the
otherwise
phone
I could come over to your
with the
place here.
town
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could come anytime
And-
and I could have 2 laptops.
to suggest that we would be
I
able
just
to
come into town just in case.
do it as early
And
as June 1st.
sometimes it's really
but if
important I
that
go to-
doesn't
well, I
work
do
for
go to
them
school
or
anyway,
for
but
Mountain or
I can't go in
Minnetonka,
the evenings.
that be
And
open
there
to
is no
other
internet at
possible
school mainly.
means.
Shut down at 4 o'clock.
And I will leave this with you as official
Ours is 4.
Probably
correspondence.
depends on the password. There'll be some passwords will go 24 hours a day. If you're the right
Oh.
person.
Did you have anything else on the G5, Mr. Jenkins?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So that people can't sit outside this school.
9.2 is going to in camera, so we are at 9.3, the 2020 financial plan hearing. That is still scheduled for the 2nd.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Just bring it back as a reminder to everybody.
Okay.
Do we have a plan for how we're going to make it work?
Make,
Like the public able to participate? Like what are we doing?
well, it's on teleconferencing, so they have to register, I think, right, Mr. Jenkins?
That's correct. That's included in the notice.
Okay, so they would have to register and then they'll get the access phone number and so on.
So
That's correct.
which teleconferencing are we using?
Which teleconferencing? The one that we
We have
always
a
use,
public,
no?
no, we have a public one that we set up,
Oh,
that they can phone in.
Because like where I'm going is, if we have 20 or 30 people called in, it would be very useful to be using one where we can mute their microphones, because otherwise we're not going to hear a thing. You know, we've had that experience even just in our council meetings with 3 or 4 people dialed in. There's so much noise, so it'd be good to be using a professional one where we can essentially, you know, and there's some out there that when you dial in, they press 1 if they want to ask a question. We say, okay, caller 5, ask your question or whatever.
Otherwise they're muted.
Yeah, otherwise
no,
it'd be,
I-
so that it wouldn't be, because otherwise the kids are
Well, if
looking
you
at
have 4 people on the
So-
phone, you
pardon?
We have old
Two of them
phones,
have
so
background.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're no more.
no, well, it would be their phone that they'd be hitting their number on, but you're suggesting then that this telephone system
could do it.
could do
It's
it?
just a matter of where we're getting the conferencing from.
Okay, and where would it have to come from in your estimation?
The easiest one I know of would be to borrow the town's Zoom system, because it can do audio conferencing and allow you to control all that. They'd probably let us.
But without
Without
using
video.
the location,
Right, just,
it could be done here.
yeah, because we'd essentially, we put a laptop here, because we'll all be here, and it would show us all the people called in, and we'd just mute them all, and then let them raise their hand if they have a question, and unmute the one and take their questions.
Okay,
on the
so
line.
it's muted and
They're doing a
unmuted.
webinar.
Yeah, basically. Because otherwise, I think it's just going to get like, if we have 2 people, it'll be fine. If we end up with 20 people called in, there's going to be so much noise, we're not going to have a clue what's going on.
Is that 7 o'clock on Tuesday?
Okay, could we approach, I don't know if you want to approach the CAO, the town of Swan River, Mr. Jenkins? Or do you want to put that off onto someone in the office here?
I'll put that off over to the office.
Okay. You understand what we're after?
I hear you. Yeah, I wasn't involved in the initial setup, so I think this is a good idea.
Okay, it's in the capable hands of Mr. Webb. Anything further on that?
Nope, that's it. Unless James has any other thing he wants to bring up before the hearing.
No, he's shaking his head in the negative
Good.
side-to-side motion. Okay, 9.4, engineering reports on the bridges. Can you bring us up to speed on what information we have? Have we received anything more that we can review and make an informed decision with respect to what council might want to decide to do with those 2 bridges?
Okay, Mr. Reeve, in this regard, we've received those reports in the past regarding those 3 bridges in question. My recommendation would be, and there are some recommendations contained within those reports, as I recall, before you move on with anything else to deal with the reports. Now, I would recommend that it either goes to review the reports in detail. Dawn involved as your lead hand for Public Works, and go over each of the reports, one for each of the 3 bridges, and start to set up a plan, a strategy, if you will, as to how this would proceed. And it may not hurt to have that meeting, the initial meeting. You have 2 options there: either bring the engineer back to answer questions in regards to those reports. That could be a face-to-face meeting. I know he's willing to come up, or try and go through it yourselves. But I would recommend at this stage, there's going to be some fairly costly restoration projects involved in these reports. So I would suggest that you have the engineer attend the meeting and review those reports with you, and you'll be, that way he's here to answer your questions, and either at the initial meeting or have a second meeting. It doesn't really matter. If you have a second meeting, that does give you the opportunity to get everything down from the first meeting in a better manner, so he can address specific questions that way that you may not have during that initial meeting. But I leave that up to council to decide.
Okay, it was also going to be my suggestion that we hold a special meeting, not only for reviewing those reports, but also for strategizing on how we move ahead and with whom we move ahead with respect to the Bonito Waste Site expansion. Because we are short, very shortly we'll be out of room there. And I'm not sure where that is sitting right now with respect to if we've received all the approvals that we need, that we can then hire an engineer to do the sloping and et cetera, all that has to be done there. So both of those topics could be and should be discussed at a meeting where we concentrate simply on those things and not other orders of business.
Yeah, I strongly recommend that, Mr. Reeve. It's rather than getting other topics mixed into the mix, you just deal with these reports and then move on from there.
Okay.
Have the reports come to us as councillors yet? Or is it still at the office?
No, we should have them.
Okay, I don't have yet, so if you could get me a copy, please, Donna. The bridge reports.
We reviewed them, I think,
I don't think we had a call.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I definitely
Very-
have 3.
I think we went around the table.
No, I have them.
Yep.
Was it maybe transportation? Would it be?
See, I don't see them.
No, I don't think it was a transfer.
No, it wasn't.
It was at a regular meeting.
Yeah.
In any case, if you send them to me, please, and perhaps Councillor Blosha as well.
I can check it out, even still be in the backseat of my truck.
Does anyone else want a
There's a
copy
few
of those?
pages in there.
Yeah, I'll want to.
Councillor Blosha. Did you have a copy?
I have a copy, yeah, there's 3 different ones.
Okay,
When we break, I could probably just call
Oh,
this.
sure. No, that's good. Thank you.
No, then
So,
then I don't.
before we move on, we should perhaps try to set a date then to review those.
I forgot my book. I never forget that.
I got mine.
Like I do, write it all down and then
You
you
wanna
file it.
be attempting it this week yet before the end of June? Or the end of May, pardon me?
Rather next week for me.
Pardon?
Next week would be better for me, it would be. Just
Would possibly have the first and second.
Yeah, we don't know.
Second for sure that's used, first might be.
What's the second?
Second
Yeah,
is finance.
yeah, we got that used.
Yeah.
And then Monday and Tuesday the following week, so what would be open would be 3, 4, or 5.
No, 4 is transportation.
4 is transportation.
It's not on here.
What time is it?
Transportation, 5 o'clock.
Why don't we try to do both of them, or do
I'm thinking you're probably going to be 2 or 3 hours just on the bridges and maybe a little bit of the waste site. So you're an hour, or an hour and a half, or 2 hours of transportation, that makes for
10 o'clock.
a long evening. 5 is what,
I'd say for
Five
transportation,
application, yeah.
My really reason, like, I've got a problem going to 10 o'clock rather than coming a fourth night through the week for, you know, when we're already here. That's the way I'm looking at it.
So what I'm hearing is we'll have transportation from 5 to 6:30. Matt will buy supper.
That's not part of the agreement, Darryl.
Glenn said he'd help you.
Oh, gee, I think we'll pass it over to
The
Darryl.
only question is who's getting up at 4 o'clock the next morning with me to keep you.
Not me.
I get up at 5.
what about this week yet, Thursday this week?
No, not for me.
I'm pretty booked up this week.
I'm booked
too.
up.
Okay,
You know, I'll just have a meeting by myself and I'll tell you guys how it went. How about that? Make everyone happy. I promise.
so what are your wishes, Wednesday, or Thursday after trans, or Friday?
I would go Thursday after trans meeting.
That's what I'm thinking too.
So 7 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
That's the 4th, correct?
Yes.
Start at 6, I'm going.
By
We
6:30,
better order
7
pizza that
o'clock,
night.
then we can order pizza.
Well, depends what time trans gets out, I guess, this guy could.
Special meeting.
So could we have whatever is available for information for that Benito Way site, and maybe check with the engineer? No, that's a separate, that's going to be a separate contract now, isn't it? The other guy's done his. Have we advertised for prices for the work that's needed to make the site acceptable?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
I thought we were still waiting on instruction yet. It's all done.
The which?
The final instruction as to what we needed to do next.
I don't believe so, no. What they've done are soil samples,
That's, yeah,
and those are apparently acceptable.
okay.
Now we need an engineer to engineer the site, if
To
you
design the
will,
whole, yeah,
to design the sloping, etc.
okay.
But we need someone to clear it, obviously, someone to do the physical sloping of it, but at the direction of an
The
engineering firm,
There was a quote for that, but just one. Ken has it.
from an engineer.
Yes.
You have a quote from an engineer, Ken?
Yes.
Nope, nothing further was done since that,
We have a quote.
last report was received from, I can't remember the name of the firm, Cousins, I believe it was.
Yes, but
J.R. Cousins?
you have one quote for that, right?
Yeah, that was his.
That's what I meant.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but was he, what was the terms of his initial hiring? Was he,
Were they not the firm hired to do the core sampling or the soil sampling?
Yeah.
So their job or their commitment is complete. Now we have, the way I understand it, and I stand to be corrected, now we have to contract with an engineering firm, and it could also be J.R. Cousins, if they have that capability, to design, I'm going to call it, the site. Because there will have to be some soil moved around to conform to the provincial government's guidelines.
so,
We'll have to get the
now
bush.
he's gonna have to go out and get some, we'll have to have a fairly detailed scope of work. In order to get that kind of quotation out there.
It's on there.
I just first
Well,
thing.
now here it says.
I'll have to go back and just check and see
The
what the
undersigned
scope of work
authorized
was
JR
for
consultant to proceed with provision of engineering services for the design of an expansion cell. So maybe this is, I don't know whether this has ever come across council
We've had
table or
that.
not. Yeah,
It's like, it ends in an 8, 38 or 58 or something.
it was just only one though.
Like 2-6.
There was
So what's the
Stantec, I
lowest?
think you said, Ken?
Pardon me?
Stantec was the other company you talked about, wasn't it, for this one?
This, if you'll just let me interject here, Ken, this is a design quote or proposal, and the cost is just over the 26,000.
Right, so if it appears that was just the only one received then, it appears that it was.
Stantec, Donna is saying Stantec had responded as well, but were priced well above that. I think what we have to
I
do,
couldn't find it.
you couldn't find it?
No, but I can keep looking.
Well, they maybe should be contacted and asked if they did in fact submit a
Can I
proposal.
just see this for 1 second? I think.
I know Stantec did submit a proposal for the bridges, but there again, they were quite high compared to
Yeah, no, they did for this.
another company.
Oh, look, there was something, I think, back to, this is from another meeting already, so. I'll look back.
I'll try and speak up so you can hear me there too, Ken. We have seen this quote. My understanding of it is this is the only quote received. However, for this particular type of service, our purchasing policy allows us to do it with one quote, even at that amount. And given that these are the folks that began the work by doing the core sampling, I would certainly be willing to entertain that we just move ahead with this and get the process going.
My understanding was that other quote, I believe there was that other quote, and it was really high. That's what I was.
It was for this part, that's why we went with,
Exactly. Yeah.
For the original course.
Right.
yes.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
for
For-
the design.
But not for
No,
that, but
yeah,
I'm
for-
guessing theirs will be higher, again, just on the simple fact that they didn't have anything to do with the first one.
Even if it was the same, we'd be better off to take the people that are already familiar with the site, because it's going to have better synergy. Like, I would be
They've already
willing
done the
to,
first phase, right?
I'd be willing to do a resolution to approve that quote and get them making the plan so we can get on with it, because we need the space.
Well, I think, like I said, I think we put out to them, and I don't think we got anything back.
Okay, now this is obviously for the design. It would have nothing to do with clearing the property
No.
or
No.
reshaping
No.
the area or anything
It's
else.
just the
This is
engineering.
strictly,
What we would get from this, though, would be the diagram of what needs to be done,
Yeah, yeah.
to then get the quote from the contractor to do the actual work. And as they do the work, this would be the supervision that went along with it.
Because we should be able to hire local to do that.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. we
so it's been suggested by one member that he would be prepared to move a resolution to accept this quote so that we can get the thing in gear.
The other item that council may want to look at, with Stantec, if you're, or pardon me, with Cousins, if you're accepting his, that first quote, all very well and good. You may also, if they're going to do the design in that, depending on the scope of work, it may also be worth having them do the work to generate new tenders or quotations, whatever you will, to have all the work done.
Well, they could write the specifications
Exactly.
and I would assume that that would be included in that price.
I would hope so.
You would hope.
Should be
Oh, yeah.
providing council with that information, and some of them go so far as to say, here's the specifications. We will also, if you wish, proceed with putting it, preparing they wouldn't set it up necessarily, but they would prepare the documents,
Yeah,
and that would be very helpful and worth the cost. That way nothing gets missed. If it gets missed, it's then the responsibility of the engineering firm. They're the ones with the professional knowledge to be able to pull something like this off, so it wouldn't hurt to have them prepare the documents as well. Depending on the scope of work, of course.
yeah.
Just clearing it. Yeah. Digging the hole. Sloping.
Are the trees big enough there to?
LP didn't want them. They were looked at them there. They said
You
LP
wanna
was a bit too
change or
small.
add
They're
anything?
worth $14.75 a bag.
I'll chop them down for that, so that we can pay for dust control.
Resolved that the municipality of Swan Valley West accept a quote from J.R. Cousins for engineering services for the design of the expansion at the Benito Waste Disposal Grounds. Moved by Councillor Gade, seconded by Councillor Blosha.
Go ahead.
Any further comments or questions? If not, all in favor? It's carried. Page 2. Number 10, correspondence. $2020 tax sale. Kind of correspondence with some tax services.
Just, yep.
So we get a letter from tax services that it has come to their attention. Minister of Municipal Relations, without consultation with us and without notice to us, has suspended all tax sale proceedings until September 21st, 2020. There is no differentiation between types of properties, the age of the arrears, or whether the owner is even interested in retaining the property. Suspension is despite businesses and services starting to reopen 2 weeks ago and without regard to whether the pandemic has materially affected your municipality. Our tax sale's usually in October anyway, is it not? So I guess we'll just let things remain in neutral until we get closer to that date. Any questions from anyone on that?
What happens is our October date will have to be scrapped
Yeah,
because the
because
process can't get far enough.
Takes
to
so
do it.
many weeks before we can get.
The other comments that I'd like to see us do, and not necessarily tonight, but perhaps on a future agenda, is look if we could offer some sort of relief for property taxes for those who are impacted, because certainly we do have some that are. Even if it's just as simple as making sure that people are aware that we do have the facility to negotiate on property taxes and can offer a payment agreement. We've done that in the past, but just making sure people are aware if they need the help, it's out there.
Okay, anything further? 10.2, wildfire prevention measures.
There's an email.
Oh, that's all perfect.
It's COVID-19. Okay, any questions on that?
Kind of a related question. We suspended burning in our municipality at our last meeting, but the next several nights there was substantial amounts of burning. And I was kind of curious, when we did the suspension, did we cancel the existing permits that were out there?
Yep,
And so those people
told
all,
everyone.
that's all we can do. I just was wondering
Yeah.
if perhaps somehow we missed, but,
Yeah.
because there were so many fires the last couple nights.
Really?
Yeah,
I did see some too.
there would have been at least 18.
So when we do a fire ban, we are documenting every person, how we contacted them, the dates, everything.
You've done your part.
Well, if guys, if you know the names, they're breaking the law.
Who do you call?
Ghostbusters.
I actually phoned one person because he didn't know, so now he knows.
Yeah,
But,
because if they're not phoning in to get a burning permit properly, then
but there is no opportunity for them to not get a permit, is there? Like, there's never a time it's okay to burn without calling for a permit
They're
first.
supposed to get.
They're supposed to get a permit.
Yeah, okay. I thought we had it covered, and
it was
We
helpful
did.
when you had it on the radio station about it too. Just so they're aware.
I wonder
they
if we
can't
should,
burn.
I see like Roblin now has on their welcome to the municipality signs, there's a fold out that folds out that says burning ban in effect. If for the few $100 it would cost us, if we should just put those on our signs too, so when you come into the municipality, there's a sign that says
I
burning
don't
ban in
think that, I
effect.
don't think it's visitors to the
No,
municipality.
but certainly, at any other normal time, they'd raise awareness.
They'll see the sign, yeah.
Yeah, as they come and go, they'll sort of know. Right now, they may not have it like normal, but normally they come back in a day or two later and say, oh, well, yes, there's the sign.
Be the same idea as the parks have,
Something just,
fire warning.
Yeah, right now the lakes say fire burning is high, but they don't say you can't burn.
Yeah, but
Control.
just alter that.
Okay, 10.3, burning permit. What was that?
This
put
was
on?
from last time that just didn't get finished, so I don't know if you guys want to or not. It's kind of redundant, I think, now maybe because of the burn ban that's on. At the time it wasn't.
Okay, 10.4, agriculture and resource development, removing farmland school tax rebate, dangerous animals, and wastewater. So it's basically just reiterating how much they have paid in relief so far, or annually. And the first year after the provincial budget is balanced, which I think got pushed down the road a few years, they will begin over a 10-year period and complete over a 10-year period the complete removal of education tax on farmland.
And there's B and C.
These are all in responses to the AMM resolutions that were passed at last year's convention.
council, maybe we could just skip ahead to 10:13, because these are all basically,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Always think you do.
Okay, 10:13 actually, we have, AMM process for June district meetings. Imagine that will be by, webinar or whatever as well.
Is that not on the 15th?
I think Ken was gonna talk about that. I'm not sure if you can hear us.
Ken,
Yes,
were you going to be talking about the AMM, June district meetings?
yeah, I can either talk about it now, or we can wait till my report.
Oh, okay, we can wait till then.
Okay.
Then 14, Swan Valley Veterinary Services District Board.
Meeting there, signing authority, we went over the budget some there. Shows everything here. It's a short meeting.
Okay, 10:15, CN brochure.
That's what this is. It's a lot.
It comes every year.
Okay,
I get one in the mail too.
okay. So you're already ahead of the game.
Yeah,
It's got nice pictures of trains.
ever since I learned about the crossing.
Basically covers all that they have been up to over the last year. You have nothing under 11?
No.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to number 12, committee reports, communications. Councillor Pierrepont.
Special meeting? Two of them, yeah. One budget. Trying to think, I read all that paper today too. I think that's it. Then you can tell me what I missed after.
Well, I may not tell you, but you might
Hear it.
catch one that
Yeah.
you did. Councillor Blosha?
I had an LUD meeting and a special meeting in the same night, from the same location.
Yeah.
And also, which I forgot to add to the agenda, but I put it in here. Like I said, maybe the night of our special meeting to discuss those radios for the fire department. Because they were gonna come, the fire chief and the deputy, I think it's called the deputy, were gonna come and talk to us and explain to us why they need them,
Why they need
the 5.
the 5.
Yeah, and more of the members think they need the 5. They say, look, like Mr. Kane and fire chief say, like, lots of times they'll get two calls there at 2 different places. So we can talk to them at least. I think we should talk to them at least.
The 3 are coming already though, right? So it's,
They haven't made a delegation,
no, but I mean, the 3 radios we've ordered at least 3.
Oh, yes, 3, yes.
So we can, it's an option, we can add 2 more, but we have the initial ones coming, which
If we don't, if we don't add it now,
we can add it whenever.
no, those costs are getting paid on them right now. This is the MTS made that agreement or
The
whatever.
costs always get paid on them, no matter when you buy them.
Okay, well,
It's just when you pay for the radio.
so anyway, I just want
There's
to,
no price advantage so now, is there?
I thought that Ken said there was a price advantage now.
The province is always paying for the operating costs.
Okay.
On the old system, we pay every month, there's $200 or something in here, but in the new one, we don't pay anymore, we just buy the radios up front, and they operate for free.
It just like,
I think the purchasing of the radios is, you were talking about the operating, I think Carrie's talking about purchasing of the radios.
that's what,
The radio cost, I think, is reduced at this point.
Is it?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I
Well,
thought.
we should find that out
That's
for
what I
sure.
understand from our
Okay.
reading, you know.
That's what I thought. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
if we talk to them and we agree, we can't,
Delay.
you know.
Okay.
So I just want us to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Well, maybe you could find out, James, for sure.
Could I interject for a moment? I'm still having trouble hearing all the details. This is on the radio system.
Yes,
Now, council, you will recall, council cut it back to 5 to 3, based on the fact that the best knowledge we had available at the time was that they're used strictly for 911 calls. As I told council then, I wasn't aware of all the details. I came in late on this one. So I did some checking, and I checked with the fire chief at Manitoba, who also has a contract to go outside the town with a couple of other municipalities, including the one I live in. And I had a late call today with the fire chief in Swan River, and also talking with the fire chief in Benito. 5 radios were selected at that time, and that's what bothered me. If they needed 3, why didn't they just apply for 3 instead of 5? Number one, it provides a lot more flexibility for the response in the event that vehicles are not at the same incident or at another call. 2 is if the VHF system fails because of geographic interference. The big one is for mutual aid and interagency communication, such as Office of the Fire Commissioner, police, and ambulance. Currently, if you don't have, what happens, you got to go through 911 to get to talk to RCMP and ambulance, and these are critical minutes, if you will, for response times, very critical. So, in talking with, as I said, the 3 fire chiefs, I think it's, I'll use the expression, we kind of shortchanged them a bit. They're all fully in agreement that the 5 radios and being mobile allows them a lot more freedom for the communication system that they require. There's nothing worse at a critical incident scene where communication fails on you when you're trying to get a hold of somebody else. This allows fire departments to speak to each other. If VHF goes down or it isn't effective in the hills, whatever, and I know we experience that quite a bit down here, this system accesses that. So while I'm saying it's still a decision of council, after talking to the 3 fire chiefs, I find that it's more than just a fancy radio that will talk only to 911. It's a lot more robust system than that, and it gives you better critical timing at these situations. So I throw that out for council's consideration. I'm not even sure. We've applied. We've made the application for the radios for the 3 that were approved by council. That's going through the works. If council does approve the additional 2 radios, I can't say we'll be able to get them, but we can sure try. But that's still a council decision, but I wanted council to be aware that they're a lot more versatile than what we were first led to believe.
Okay.
Why don't, Carrie, you bring a motion, just buy 2 more and I'll second it. Just why bring them in? You know, if we, for no reason.
but I'm sure it's because they're at a reduced cost right now. That was the
Well, I
only
see.
reason I didn't wanna wait if they, cause, the fire chief and deputy fire chief said they would come as a delegation if they.
That's going to add more cost to
I
it.
know.
So
So,
if in fact,
I like, and listening to them, I understand. And it wasn't just them, then even I talked to one of the LUD members who sits on the fire department, and I said, so what do you think? He said, well, we should probably have the 5, but we'll make, if we have to, we make the 3 work. That's what he said, so he's thinking they should have the 5, and that's another firefighter,
so we'll
I'm just thinking that they
do
all.
a resolution to.
They all agree, they know what they're doing, I do not, so I'm just going by what 4 firefighters have told me so far.
Okay.
So
Anything else?
no, that's it, so I would move to purchase 2 radios.
Yeah, we'll do the
Keep that in a
resolution
minute.
here and we can do that prior to going in camera.
Okay.
Councillor Foster.
Now, we had airport meeting, special meeting. I guess that's about it there.
Councillor Wells, thank you.
Just the one, budget meeting on the 14th, I didn't make it to the other ones, so.
Councillor Gade, you have anything?
I was lucky enough to attend a couple special meetings, one in person, one by phone, I think, however that worked out. Otherwise, my schedule is blissfully clear.
Okay, thank you. We discussed earlier the Town of Swan River letter vis-a-vis the G/G5/G4. We had an airport meeting. There have been some changes made to rental rates, etc., which we will, and some other issues that have arisen as a result of some changes that we will get into in camera. But we did have the airport meeting. We had Swan Valley Business Consortium meeting, a special meeting on the 14th, which included the LUD. We had a special meeting on the 19th, and a RISE meeting on the 21st. Ken, do you have anything further?
Yeah, just we'll talk about the EMM.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, that's on June the 16th at 10 a.m. And they're suggesting we use Zoom. I must confess, I have no knowledge about that, so we'll have to get that checked out. But pre-registration deadline is June the 11th. So I would ask council to consider letting the office staff know as soon as whether or not they can partake in that. I guess they come on into the municipal office to do it, and it will be from 10 a.m. till noon.
Just 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours. And that's usually the amount of time they spend on these ones. And of course, because you're not going out of town, there'll be no, the host of the municipality will not be supplying any lunch or goodies like that, so.
If we go Zoom, we can do that from our homes, actually. There is no need to attend at the office. Are they going to be using their Zoom? I would assume that they would have signed up for that.
Well, they have to send you the invitation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you just click on it.
So you're gonna get invited over to Deputy Reeve, Blosha's place quite often.
Yeah.
Well, that day I won't be there. I'll be at work, actually. You could have it, though.
No.
Go ahead. There's snacks in there.
Okay, did you have anything further?
Nope, I had the radios down in my report, and we've already covered that with Council Blosha, so that concludes my report. Mr. Reeve?
Okay, thank you. You can write that resolution on the radios. Resolved that we do hereby accept the following verbal reports regarding council committees and communications. Councillor Blosha, LUD, special meeting, radios for the fire department. Councillor Wills, budget special meeting. Councillor Pierrepont, special meeting, ×2. Councillor Gade, special meeting, ×2. Councillor Foster, airport meeting and special meeting. Myself, G5, Town of Swan River letter, airport meeting. Swan Valley Business Consortium, LUV, special meeting and RISE meeting. CAO Ken Jenkins, AMM, June 16, 10 to 12 via Zoom. June 11th, registration is required by that date. We have a mover for this. Moved by Councillor Foster. Seconded by Councillor Wills. All in favor? That is carried.
I said Tyler was going to be late. I meant it.
Yeah.
They said no.
Oh, okay.
Must be hauling fuel at
We should
that
park in
minute.
the front.
And,
We'll park in the front here when we went home.
Okay, resolved, Municipality of Swan Valley West is hereby approve the purchase of 2 additional radios as requested by the fire department and the ambulance.
Not the ambulance.
No, not
Not
the
the
ambulance.
ambulance. Okay, so just the
Just
fire
Benito,
department?
Benito Fire Department.
Oh, that's it.
Benito Fire Department,
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
sorry
just the
about
fire
that.
department.
yeah. That's okay.
Jesus.
I'll
In
put
Benito.
Benito in here.
That's it.
I'm learning.
Yeah,
They can communicate with the ambulance, I believe.
Oh,
And
that's why.
911 and,
That's why.
Yeah, I will reread the resolution. Resolved that the Municipality of Swan Valley West is hereby approved the purchase of 2 additional radios as requested by the Benito Fire Department. Mover? Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Gade. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? It's carried.
I'm getting used to my messy writing.
Okay, we will take a short recess prior to going in town. 002-15. The council shall extend the curfew by up to 1/2 hour in order to complete discussions regarding
Oh, we lost it. Sorry.
Staffing.
agenda items.
Okay. I don't know how it disappeared. That's fine. I'll fix it.
All in favor? That's carried. Okay, this one.
I should have put that.
yeah,
This should maybe have a copy made of it as well for the office.
I just put it there because you're there. No, it's not that one. Glen usually gets that.
That's why I thought maybe it's not gonna pass it. Made me scribble.
Isn't that funny when
Moved by Councillor Blosha, second by Councillor Pierrepont, resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West do hereby agree to hire Roger Bouvier for the position of Interim-Acting CAO. Be it further resolved that the starting date of employment shall be on June 1st, 2020, as mutually agreed. Any further? All in favor? It's carried. Okay. Is there anything else that anyone has?
Good call, Glenn.
He's got it ready.
I don't know if you wanted to talk about this or not, so.
I think whoever signs that's buying supper next meeting.
Put that dirty back. Yeah, we do that next time, because it's not gonna change anything.
Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Kushniryk, resolved that this meeting shall now adjourn at 11:11 PM. All in favor?